What if you have to kill 100 men to save 1,000? What if some of them are doctors? Or maybe they are criminals? What exactly decides right or wrong?
What is the measure of a man, or of his murder? By what insane calculus can we answer questions like these? Should we even try?
Once I told my friend to cherish what he has. He had cancer. I was wrong until he laughed, or until he died. The question of morality is what this game asks. Unfortunately, or fortunately, you don't have to answer them. Also, the cancer thing, that never happened, I just made it up. Far Cry 2 was released back in 2008, a 17 years old game. If you were born after that, this is how the world used to look like. Developed by none other than Ubisoft, Montreal. It takes place in a fictional African country devastated by a civil war between two factions, the UFLL and the APR. Both groups claim to fight for their people, but they do the opposite. They exploit the locals for their own sake. You play as one of the mercenaries, Far Cry's first silent protagonist. The game gives you so many options, it's confusing. But think of it as giving a kid a bunch of candies to choose from before abducting him. It literally doesn't matter which one he picks. The only two difference being later in the game, these people will become your buddies, and depending on who you choose, you will get buddies in different order. So for example, if you want to be buddies with Warren Clade, don't pick Warren Clade. As I said, it adds nothing to the game except confusion. And the other difference being you can see the arms of your character. Mine has a cool tattoo that says Morte, which in Italian and Portuguese means death. Subtle foreshadowing, Ubisoft? Maybe a coincidence. After you arrive in this country, you are picked by a driver. He explains the current situation of the country. Everyone wants to leave, but only the rich people with connections can.
Rich! Millionaire!
Nobody follows the rules anymore. The radio is describing APR as a plague, but the driver shuts it off as soon as he sees the soldiers. The place is swarmed with local and foreign troops. He says that they keep it to themselves, but you'll soon find out they don't. When you reach Pala, a nearby town, you pass out. You are already affected by malaria. If you couldn't tell by the mosquito in the main menu. Every time there is a loading screen, it describes your current situation. 5 minutes in this country and it's clear. Things are about to be very bad. The UFLL and the APR are gearing up for open fighting. My mission is simple: to kill the JAKCAL, the bastard who armed both sides. You wake up in a dark room, unable to move. A person is reading your documents out loud, describing your target. And the person reading is your target.
Orders are to terminate. Well, that didn't work out the way they planned. I'm still breathing and you're the one with malaria. You can tell them you tried, but that means fuck all, doesn't it? You're fired. You know it, and so do I. You had your shot, but now it's over. And since men like you only work for money, you're no longer my problem. You'll have to find something else to do with yourself now. What your old clients don't seem to understand is that they can't kill me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody kills me. Nobody. I'm the one who decides who lives and who dies. Me.
He doesn't kill you, that means he thinks you are useful. Because remember, he is the one who decides who lives and who dies. And it's true. He is the one who brought all the guns to this country. And by giving you a gun and a machete, he made his point. He knows you are a mercenary and eventually will end up working for one of the factions. When you regain your consciousness, there is a huge explosion in the town. Both factions are fighting. You try to escape but get caught in the crossfire. However, one of the factions picks you up. You barely survive. You wake up to a guy who tells you that since you killed some of his men, you have to work for him. Every playthrough, the guy you wake up to will be different. Thanks game, now I know what is it like to be son of Lana Rhodes. Every time you wake up, there is a different guy in the room. This is a big issue in this game. Since every playthrough you meet a lot of different characters, Ubisoft must have hired a bunch of people who don't really know how to voice act. They are not acting, they are just reading script in a monotone voice. And they speak so fast. If not for the subtitles, I wouldn't even understand what they were saying.
Happens. Case of good man working under difficult circumstances.
Los it nicht, man! Los it nicht!
I'm just telling you guys. You just need the ducats. Same as me. Let's turn it around, eh? Stick it to Carbonell instead.
You're the perfect one for the job. Is it his cabin up on top of
And because of that, most of the characters are so forgettable. Other than JAKCAL, maybe Ruben and the driver in the beginning. Somehow he did a better job than most of the cast. None of the characters stood out to me. Where the fuck is the cab driver? I remember seeing a thread online where a guy said he died and you can find his corpse in the parlor right after JAKCAL's cutscene, but when I searched I couldn't find anything. Then I tried to find that thread again, but it just doesn't exist anymore. In fact, there is nothing on the internet about driver's corpse. Right in the beginning, this fight in parlor is scripted. No matter how good you are, you will eventually collapse. So I tried using dev mode to explore the area, but again couldn't find anything. Then I went to the most trustworthy website, ChatGPT. I know it's unreliable, but the way they work is they collect data from all over the internet. And it insisted that it exists and says it's right there, you dumbass. Just in the main road outside the hotel. Do you want me to give screenshots? I can even give you exact coordinates. To which I replied, absolutely, that would be helpful. Then it went, corpse? What corpse? What the fuck are you talking about, dumbass? So apparently the driver never dies. It's kinda sad that even though he's alive, we don't see him again, because he's the only one who talks like a human being in this game. Even people from ancient times 16 years ago, literal ooga boogas, say the same. Since we are talking about characters, let's talk about the only existing woman in the game, who also happens to be conflicted, JAKCAL. A living being seeks above all else to discharge its strength. Life itself
is will to power. Nothing else matters.
Is an actual quote from a German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche. I tried, okay? My mouth doesn't have muscles required to pronounce these words. In simple words, the fundamental human drive is not survival or reproduction, but rather exertion of power and mastery. If that's true, why does cuckolds, furries, and femboys exist? I don't see how getting your wife banged, wanting to get treated as an animal, or feeling zesty is exertion of power. I would say the fundamental human drive is brain rot. Bombardino crocodile. Every Far Cry villain is unique. Some of them are mentally unstable psychopaths.
Did I ever tell you to go fuck yourself?
Some of them have level 10 riz or charisma.
Takes me back.
And some just want to molest you. But JAKCAL is nothing like them. He's realistic, reasonable, and conflicted at the same time. Every time he makes an appearance, he will say something true that you don't want to hear.
Why Africa? Why my home?
Every place is somebody's home, pal. But it doesn't stop people from going to war. I don't start wars. I didn't start this one. It seems like it's your fellow Africans that want each other dead. Besides, why should I give a shit about your home? Why should anyone? You want me to go somewhere else? So there's someone's home you don't give a shit about?
What if it was your home?
War is my home.
I don't know if it's ever been confirmed, but the protagonist of Far Cry 1, Jack Carver, is JAKCAL. He had superhuman strength, but JAKCAL doesn't. Regardless, he is someone who believes violence and conflict are inherent to human nature. You can find a short description about him in the main menu. I'll talk about him more when he appears in the story. Bro has like 7 minutes of screen time and only half of it is animated. The guy who picked you up works for a local boss named Gakumba. Sounds like Pumba's cousin.
Shut the fuck up!
And Gakumba works for UFLL. So you are already becoming a part of it. He starts by giving you small tasks like fixing the car, clearing a nearby APR outpost. He also tells you leaving will get you nowhere, and he's right. Right now, if you try to leave, you'll collapse due to malaria and wake up to him again. It's only after getting your first safe house you can freely explore. This is the part where I pause the story and talk about the Far Cry 2, like its other counterparts, is an open-world first-person shooter. The only difference being in other Far Cries, you dominate. In this game, you survive. This is the only Ubisoft game where I don't recommend anyone to play on hardest difficulty. Enemies are already broken in this game, but in infamous difficulty, they become insufferable. They have more health, they deal more damage. On the other hand, you have less syringe, less ammo and grenades, no crosshair, and guns jam more frequently. Pyro wasn't exaggerating when he said, you have to maintain your health, your gun's health, your buddy's health, your malaria, your car's health, your CoK's health, all while your mental health degrades, while you spend hours filming a brown-looking 17 years old game that you don't even enjoy playing. Honestly, if you are used to modern gaming, this game is pain in the ass. I mean, sometimes when I stumble upon one of those recordings, listening to them always gave me chills. I can see what they were going for, and that's the only time I feel immersed. And sometimes it felt like I'm a baby trapped inside a pregnant porn star. There are no teleport points. Instead, there are 5 bus stations and they can only take you to the other bus station. So there is a lot of back and forth, more than your mother ever experienced, unless you are a son of Lana Rose. Even more disappointing is that buses aren't even drivable. It just plays the bus sound effect. There is no wingsuit. However, there are hang gliders. I already finished half of the game before I came across one, and then this happened. This guy is either obese or holding his shit back, because bro can't even run 3 meters before his vision gets blurry. If I had put a gun to Stephen Hawking's head and forced him to run, he probably would have run farther before getting a migraine. A lot of people justify this game's lack of mobility by saying the game forces you to explore. Motherfucker, aside from your sister, what's there to explore? The fucking metallic wildlife? The outpost that doesn't give you anything? Or the malaria attacks? Back and forth wouldn't be so bad if you could avoid fighting enemies, because enemies respawn based on distance. So if during a mission an outpost is in your way and you clear it, when you come back all of them will be respawned. The game forces you to stay on roads by putting invisible walls in every single rock. I'm stuck. Can't make it. I can't make it. Every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes and a patrol car, which will jump scare you by giving you a mini heart attack, IRL, and killing you instantly in game. I mean, I have clips named Helpless, Jump Scare 1, What in the fuck killed me, Rammed me, I will make sure their children suffer. Wait, what the hell is this? Oh no. The rumors are true! The game doesn't have a typical UI map, but a typical map with UI. As much as pulling a map at my face every time I drive annoyed me, I have to say that it fits so well with the game's minimal UI theme. If you notice there is no UI on the screen, it's only when you take damage or fire your weapon, the UI will pop up and it goes away after a few seconds. Thanks Ubisoft, I can see so much and nothing at the same time. Let's talk about outposts a little more. This game is the origin of the good old Far Cry outposts, but they are called guard posts. Clearing them gives you nothing but more ammo and syringes, and enemies respawn if you go far enough. In Infamous difficulty, you run out of ammo and health a lot faster, so sometimes they are worth scouting. But these guard posts are not designed for stealth. In newer counterparts, stealth is incentivized. They reward you for not raising alarms or clearing them undetected. This game does have some stealth, but not only it's inconsistent even after buying a suit upgrade, but it also doesn't reward you with anything. Rather, it makes things more difficult, because the silenced weapons this game has aren't that good. Plus, you get detected anyways. Let's leave weapons for later. There is no enemy detection arrows, you can't mark them, and this makes the experience like raw, kinda hardcore, you know what I mean? But what makes the enemies even scarier in this game is that they are smart. They are aware. They use real-life military tactics against you. They take advantage of their numbers, covering ground as much as possible to surround you and then ambush you. While the snipers try to stay away. Throwing grenades to make you get out of the cover. Flanks. They help each other when they get injured. And most importantly, they never give up. Running away is useless. Somehow their vehicles are always faster than yours, even though you are driving the same thing. And if they don't have LMG attached to their vehicle, they will follow you to hell. They are willing to fight Satan just to make you suffer. But wait, there is more. Did I tell you that enemies are literally shadows? Not because they are black, but because Everyone blends so well with the environment that they made me paranoid. Is that a leaf or a fucking KSI with an Uzi? I mean, there are clips where it seems like I'm shooting at nothing, like for example this one, but I actually killed a sniper there. Plus the dense vegetation makes it so much worse. They can see you but you can't. They can shoot through walls, cars, rocks, trees, and sometimes they are shooting at a complete different direction and you are still getting hit. This could be a visual bug, I don't know. Maybe it's a FPS thing. This game wasn't meant to be played above 60 FPS. Snipers can shoot across the map, but motherfuckers with mortar can shoot across continents. To avoid them, you have to go so far that your PC can't physically render them. During a mission, I was minding my own business and suddenly got ambushed by a bunch of soldiers. It wasn't a part of a mission, just random interaction. I was getting shot from every direction, while a guy from I don't know where was dropping nukes at me and my buddy. He got injured, so I tried to revive him, but every time I did that, another bomb drops on his head and he collapses again until his body couldn't take it anymore and he died. I wish it ended here, but no. Throughout the entire mission, he kept bombing me. I couldn't find him because the nukes were coming from the opposite direction of where I was supposed to go. But I found an opportunity, a wide open area. I had the best sniper in the game, so I looked everywhere. Everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks doing the exact same thing over and over
and over and over and over again, thinking this time is gonna be different.
This has to be a joke, right? He is so far away that the game can't fully render him. You can barely see him. So I shot him, but the nukes didn't stop. I had to abandon the mission to find this son of a whore, and I found him in the middle of the lake. Look at this motherfucker. Fuck you, you coward piece of shit, bitch. Your mother and I shared a dildo. The first time I came across an unarmed vehicle, I thought I killed a civilian. But soon after I realized there are no civilians in this game, only soldiers. And lore-wise, why are they shooting at me anyways? I am literally working for their boss, both for APR and UFLL. I am a mercenary, nothing but a weapon, so I should be neutral. Anyways, even with so many enemies in this game, I still think the biggest enemy is navigation. No place is safe, even the rivers. Going back to the story, after a few missions, you get a call from the guy who rescued you. He tells you that an APR outpost has captured a foreign national like you and you have to rescue him. This is where you meet your first buddy. More about buddies later.
You're sick. Very sick.
You too. Get it? I am sick and he is sick. He sends you to Mike's bar to help you find the medicine for your malaria. At the bar, you will meet Ruben Oluwagimbi, a journalist who writes about all that is happening in this country. He even has a blog that is still working up to this day. At first, he thinks you are one of the soldiers here to destroy his work. There is a tape on the table, which is an exclusive interview with JAKCAL himself. So soldiers often come here, take these recordings and scatter them all over the map for you to find out. How thoughtful of them. If you explore the map, you will eventually come across one. In one of the recordings, Ruben asks, "Where do you get the guns from?" In response, he explains his entire business model, as if he doesn't give a flying fuck. He says a lot of his guns came from Soviet Union after the collapse, some from French wars, Italian wars, storage wars. When a war ends, he collects them from the dead or he buys them back, giving him even more guns.
So some of these guns are very old. They've been sold, bought and sold repeatedly.
They're not biodegradable. Only the dead are biodegradable.
So he's kinda like Asmongold. Reaction videos aren't biodegradable, only the dead are biodegradable. Twitches his eyebrows. Ruben has covered 16 wars, and every time JAKCAL was the one dealing guns to both sides and making a fortune. Imagine a war where everyone is stuck at gun jamming animation. I can bet most soldiers must have died by guns blowing up in their faces, or RPGs this shot coming back at them. Might as well fight with rocks or barehanded. Anyway, Ruben tells you that a priest in Pala has pills you will need to stay alive. He also gives you the recording to pass along. The priest, who goes by Father Malia, is another forgettable character in this game. He is one of those fools that the driver was talking about in the beginning.
Everyone's trying to find a way out of the country. Only fools stay now.
fools and cab drivers. He stayed in this country to help people. He's a part of a small group. They call themselves underground. Probably because their families are 6 feet under the ground. They are dead. I don't know who came up with the name, but people in this group are just victims of war. Priests will often ask you to deliver passports and other documents to these people. And in exchange, they will give you malaria pills fresh out of their anuses. What the hell? What the helly? What the hellio? What the hellante? An interesting thing about this game is despite the ongoing war between the two factions, they both operate in the same town and not too far from each other. And even more interesting is that the church where Father Malia resides is located in between the two factions, symbolizing how common folks are getting exploited in the crossfire. Satisfied by your work, the guy who rescued you introduces you to the local boss, Kakumba, or if an APR guy rescued you, he will introduce you to his boss. Regardless of who rescued you, you have to work for both factions. What the fuck? Almost gave me a heart attack. Yo bro, what do you call a monkey? Who is your friend? A chimpanzee. While you work for one faction, the other one will be locked. Now here's the confusing part. If you choose to work for APR first, in the end the UFLL will ask you to kill the APR's leader and vice versa. But don't worry, in the end all leaders die. It's just a matter of who dies first. Time and time again, this game gives you the illusion of choices. But as they say, no matter how many times you flip a sandwich, the bread always comes first. That's why there is always some mayo on the sandwich.
Shut the fuck up.
I just realized it doesn't even fit here, but the point is, it's still a sandwich. If you have made it this far, you should know that you might never find this channel again. Don't make me say the S word, okay? Whenever I hear that word or say it, the demon inside me howls. So do what you need to do. Don't make me release the demon, make me release the semen. What the The game doesn't give you much about both factions. I think their entire existence is to make the player realize he is on the wrong side. Regardless of who he works for, it will only lead to more suffering of common folks. Folks, there is no right choice here. That's why they are so indistinguishable from each other. If one likes a guy dressed up as a girl, the other one likes the girl who looks like a guy. And throughout the entire playthrough, you will be wondering who is more gay. Even in game, when you enter their headquarters, they are identical. The only difference being APR has slightly more diamonds in their inventory, so they can afford zebra skin rugs. This country, like any other, had a proper government.
Good picture, everybody, so we look nice and handsome and thin.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Then APR, a multinational military organization, stepped in. They wanted the government to join them. When the president denied, he was assassinated by his own security. Wiki says allegedly APR conducted the assassination. Yeah, allegedly, Japan was bombed by a fat man. Shortly after, some politicians joined the APR. Meanwhile, opposition politicians with level 3 unemployed, thugs, and the one guy whose only job is to touch you formed UFLL. So APR is politicians and military, and UFLL is politicians and thugs. Whenever you enter their building, you can eavesdrop on conversations. UFLL seems to be struggling with money, but they care so much about their public image.
Look at their gear, look what they've got. Jesus, that is the highest quality.
If the people think I brought in this special forces team, then they will say Kakumba is rich, taking their money and hiding it in secret bank accounts. Kakumba is buying entire armies as easy as food off a shelf.
I wish you were rich.
And APR doesn't give a fuck. They usually talk about strategies, expanding their turf. Nothing interesting. Even the missions are similar. I could go on in detail the little differences they have, but it's all politics, it's boring, uninteresting, and all these forgettable characters don't do them any favor. The missions in this game are repetitive. It's usually free the captives, kill someone totally unrelated to the story. That is some fire music, G. Is that copyrighted? Or blow something up. I mean, nobody expects unique missions from a company who releases same game every few years. And what's worse is, unlike other Far Cry's where the mission progresses the story, here they don't contribute much. Sure, you get to know how the mercenaries operate, But it feels like they are missions for the sake of being missions, not adding much to the story. And the story goes like this. Story progresses, then nothing happens for a while, you just work for these factions, then the story picks up again, and then nothing happens for a while. Like I'm doing all this killing for what to happen exactly? I'm not fighting for a side. A faction saved me, but I already paid my debt by working for them. I know the protagonist is a mercenary, they do it for money, but I am not. I want to see a story of a mercenary, not his fucking job. Anyway, both factions ask you to sabotage each other, like the first mission you get from UFLL is to destroy a foreign commander's gear who is planning to extradite an unarmed APR target. I'll talk about this mission more later. And the APR asks you for assassination of police chief because he is allies with UFLL. But there are multiple ways to make your life miserable, because if you remember, you have buddies in this game are the reflection of the protagonist. Since he is silent, buddies are the only way to know what kind of a person the protagonist is. Like you, they are mercenaries. They don't care about the factions, who is winning. They don't care about the country. All they care about is who is paying them and how much. After you accept a mission for any faction, you get a call from your buddy.
Hey man, Warren Clyde, remember? Sure. I gotta talk to you. I'm north of the slaughterhouse.
They provide an alternative way to do your mission. For example, the first mission from UFLL, where they tell you that a group of foreign soldiers have entered the country to extradite an unknown target. They think that they will be blamed for it. So they want you to destroy their supplies, so they have to leave. The unknown target happens to be your buddy. The soldiers are here because of him. He has been stealing the medical supplies from an NGO that is aiding these poor people. And he is stealing them and selling them to APR. What? It's the same medicine that you get from these poor people and the reason why you are alive. What?
That guy's me. And get this, I've been selling the shit to the APR. And now they're gonna help me take out the posse so I can keep stealing gear and selling it to them at 100% markup.
Now I know why some African countries are still poor even after getting $1 billion donation. So he sends you to a complete different direction to sabotage those soldiers. But then you have to do the original mission, and at the end of every buddy mission, someone is trying to kill him as a consequence of the ridiculous tomfoolery they do, and you have to save them. Most of the missions go like this. Faction tell you to do something, your buddy calls you, says to meet at a specific safe house which is so far away from the actual mission, I watched an entire episode of. Then he sends you in a complete different mission which is also far from the safe house. Then you come back to the safe house, then you go back to do the original mission you got from the faction. And then someone tries to kill your buddy, so you have to save his ass. Like, what the fuck is this back and forth? Am I a mercenary or a fucking Uber driver? So what's the point of doing a buddy mission, you might ask? First off, when you accept a mission, they immediately go down to give you a head.
Clown school outfits like Magruder Powell.
A true homie indeed. And the second reason for doing them is it unlocks safe house upgrades. As you complete more buddy missions, you unlock syringes, ammo, throwables like grenades and molly, and a vehicle. If you don't do these missions, you have to go to a gun store every single time to refill your ammo and to get syringes or scour enemy camps. So pick your poison, either back and forth for the supplies or for the buddy missions. Aside from making your life miserable, they ask you to do pretty shady and goofy stuff. In one of the missions, the UFLL asks you to tag a pile of gold owned by a wealthy king. But instead, your buddy gets in touch with a prince who wants his father dead. So instead, you kill the king, bring the ring back as a proof, give it to the prince, and then you go back to tag the gold. A depressing thing about this mission is the king is probably the only good guy who has some authority in this country. He seems to care about his people, and his final words are, "My son will avenge me." Imagine if we had a dialogue option to tell him that his son is the one who sent us. I didn't want to kill him, but as soon as I turned, he became hostile, so I did what I had to do. Other than carrying out assassinations, you and your buddy destroy the environment and steal weapons from one faction, sell it to some PMC unit.
And your boy Warren is gonna be there to hijack those weapons. and I'll turn around and sell it to one of the real PMC units, not these clown school outfits like Magruder Pal.
Which is ironic because you are here to stop someone who is doing exactly that. But buddies in Far Cry 2 are not all bad. They are still your homies. During one of the early missions, I got overwhelmed by enemies. I panicked and they shot me down, leaving no hope. I was about to load the previous save, which was from an hour ago, because this game doesn't have the autosave feature. But as the saying goes, friends help you move on in life. Best buddies help you move bodies in life. And he came with a shovel.
Shut the fuck up.
My second best buddy. Yeah, not number one, but the second best buddy. Kurbani Singh. So basically, your second best buddy gives you another chance to survive. An interesting thing, among all the buddies, Kurbani Singh is the only one with a unique name. Kurbani means sacrifice, and all of your buddies will sacrifice themselves so you can survive. They will fight alongside you, and if they get injured, you can revive them, which consumes one of your syringes. This is not a problem in other difficulties, but in Infamous difficulty, in the beginning you only have 3 syringes, and that's when you will need buddies the most, but also the syringes. If you choose to save syringes, you can either leave him to die,
Can't walk away. You have to help me.
or put a bullet in their head. So, no more heads. If you hesitate, they will grab the barrel, stick it to their throat, and they'll say, "Do it, this is the only way." Your character looks away as they thank you, which ends with a gunshot. So it's a hard choice. Actually, not really, because killing them gives you a rusty but gold-plated Desert Eagle. Modern equivalent of, bro, if you die, at least I get to keep your gaming PC. Also, Kurbani Singh will be replaced by somebody else. And if he dies, he will get replaced by another until you run out of buddies. But as the saying goes, okay, this is the last one, I promise. You can always 3D print a dildo, but it won't hit the same. If you choose to leave them to die, they will feel betrayed and will call you coward. Also, you can't infinitely revive them. If a buddy gets injured 3rd time, he will ask for morphine, but it won't do anything. Then he will ask for more.
Give me more.
And then more, until eventually he dies from overdose. He knows he's gonna die, it's just a better way to die. An act of mercy. And if you don't have any syringes, good old barrel in the face. They will say it's better than morphine, but obviously it's a lie. Truly a heartbreaking gaming moment. This whole interaction with you and your buddy is the only reason why I will remember this game. Your history also increases as you do more missions with your buddy, but it literally does nothing, it's just a stat. Another way to increase history with your buddies is by working for them at Mike's Bar. They give you same old boring missions to kill someone, to threaten someone, or to blow something up. They reuse the places you have already been before, and there is no reward for it. I don't even know what's the point of these missions. That's everything about buddies. Speaking of bar missions, there are only 3 types of side missions, or you can say there are only 3 side missions, which repeats over and over again. Radio missions, bar missions, and the gun shop missions. There are a few radio towers in each map. When you interact with it, you get a call.
Listen very carefully. There's an available target of opportunity. Proceed to the objective marked on your map. Terminate the target. Standard payment and rough guidance will be transferred to your account on completion.
The same voice line plays in all the radio towers, and with every mission being kill an NPC. And it gives you diamonds as rewards. As for who is this mysterious voice, I have no idea. The game never tells you, the wiki doesn't know. There is a possibility it's JAKCAL because he's the one who decides
who lives and who dies. Me.
I already talked about useless bar missions. Finally, the gun shop missions. There are 2 ways to unlock new guns in this game, either by progressing the game or by doing the gun shop mission. Yeah, mission. Singular, not missions. It's the same mission every single time. The gun vendor tells you to sabotage his competition by destroying his shipment. Completing the mission doesn't give you guns for free, you still have to buy them. Only the few first missions are worth doing because it unlocks M1903, the first sniper you unlock, and I will tell you why. There is no skill tree in Far Cry 2. No tattoos that give you superpower. You can't increase your health bar. No skill upgrades. no medicinal herbs, no sex buff. Instead, you invest in guns and equipments. Throughout the map, you will find these gun shops where the entire progression takes place. You can buy guns, reliability upgrades for weapons, ammo upgrades, accuracy upgrades, vehicle upgrades, syringe kit upgrades. You get the idea. The guns you get from enemies are extremely unreliable. They often jam or even explode. When I first encountered the gun jamming mechanic, it didn't bother me that much. I thought it's like an unexpected reload you have to do. You press R on the keyboard and it fixes it. But it got me killed like 15 times before I started using the store-bought guns. And don't go on thinking that store-bought guns are safe. You already know all these guns have been bought, sold and bought repeatedly. Some are more than the others. So even a fully maxed out gun with upgrades will eventually jam and explode. They just have way more health. Don't worry, if the gun explodes, you don't have to buy it again. You can find all your bought guns in the storage besides the store. Everything in the store is bought with diamonds, which is the main currency of the game. In the beginning, this guy tells you that ever since the factions took over, paper money has been so worthless that he wouldn't wipe his ass with it. Diamonds are not hard to obtain. They are the only form of reward for basically everything. Diamond! Also, you get them from suitcases spread all over the map. Whenever a suitcase is nearby, the green light will blink on your Bluetooth device. The closer you are, the faster it blinks. At first, I was hunting down these bad boys, but soon I realized the main story gives you enough. Unless you are buying every single gun with all the upgrades, you don't need to hunt down these suitcases. As for the guns, in harder difficulties, you will struggle with any short-range weapon. But as soon as you get a sniper, the game becomes so much easier. But boring too. I have already talked about how enemies shoot you across the map. But with short-range weapons, you will always find yourself surrounded by enemies. So by having a sniper, not only you kill them before they overwhelm you, but you can also take out the enemy snipers or mortar. This makes it so that you don't even have to engage in fights. It's like having autism. Sometimes it feels like a superpower, and sometimes you'd rather have cancer instead. LMGs, assault rifles, they are just okay. I love pistols. I think they are badass and using them gives you bonus aura points. But in this game, they are straight up dog shit. Their iron sight sucks. Damage is non-existent. And unlike other Far Cries, in this game you can't attach any sights or improve its damage in any way. But there is one gun so good and fun to use that you will avoid using snipers, the MAC-10. The sheer amount of DPS this gun has makes every gun obsolete. And when you max it out, it becomes a laser, like zero recoil. It atomizes enemies. And the best part is, you can equip it in pistol slot. Now why would you use pistols when this exists? It's comparable to Shredder from Far Cry 3. The only downside is it eats up so much ammo. If that concerns you, there is also Uzi. Nowhere near the DPS of MAC-10, but it's more of a damage per bullet gun than DPS gun. I can't talk about all the weapons, but a few worth mentioning are the crossbow, which has explosives for some reason, and the dart rifle, the only stealth weapon that works. Both can be equipped in the special weapon slot. They usually have single-digit ammo capacity. Let's get back to the story again. So now you find yourself working for both UFLL and APR until one of the factions asks you to kill the other's leader.
It's you, my friend. So how about we make a real change? Destroy the UFLL in the North once and for all. One faction, one leader. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
I want Kakumba dead.
I love the location of this mission. It takes place in Goka Falls. This whole area really reminds you of Far Cry 3. The dense forest, the waterfall, the birds you can't kill. If you crank up the saturation, it will probably look like Far Cry 3. Most of the map is savanna and desert, so this highly detailed area stands out a little bit. Is it underutilized? Yes, like so many other places. This was a good opportunity to put the hang glider here, but there is none. Anyway, I digress. You might think killing the leader would be something grand with music, motion capture and unrealistic dialogues, something which will tickle your pickle, but nope. It's like killing any other NPC. You don't have a choice here. He says, what do you want? Money? It's in the drawer. So I turned around because everything Mercs do is for money. But like everyone else, he became hostile as soon as I turned. After killing the leader, you get swarmed by more men. But these aren't Gakumba's men, the guy you just killed. These men are sent by the same faction that gave you this mission. There is no telling between APR guys from UFLL guys, like Red Pirates and Blue Rockyards in Far Cry 3. As I said before, factions are indistinguishable. The only reason why I know that these are APR men is because I pressed escape to save my game and it says that you have been set up. After you make an escape, you get a call from Ruben, the reporter. He doesn't give you much detail, just gives you a location to meet and says it's urgent. Upon meeting him, he tells you that APR has launched an offensive in Northern District. The targets are you, all the foreign mercs, your buddies, and Father Malia, the guy who kept you alive by giving you malaria pills, or the location of the pills. So you have to make a choice here. Either you go to Mike's bar and try to save your buddies, or go to church to save Father Malia. I went to help buddies because they get the most screen time. Upon arrival, you see flares going up in the sky, and the bar is surrounded by the soldiers. After I killed everyone, I found, who the fuck are you again, inside the bar. He's probably my buddy, but I can't tell anymore because I played the good chunk of the game in the infamous difficulty and I went through so many of them. They are like bunch of fetuses laying around in an abortion room, dead on arrival. I didn't even get to know their names. So many of them I accidentally killed myself, not the fetuses but the buddies, because I couldn't differentiate them from the enemies. I even managed to kill Kurbani Singh even though he wears a do-rag. And to be honest, they were not that helpful anyways, just held me back the entire time I was playing on infamous difficulty. I started using them as meat shields and even then none of them were fat. Where the fuck do all the fat people go when I need them? You and your buddies block all the doors and windows. Don't ask me why didn't they just try to escape. You get swarmed. This time it's overwhelming. This room has 17 windows and 15 doors and all of them are breaking. Your buddies are already dead. You try everything for survival but it's of no use. You finally collapse into the darkness. Now if you choose to save Father Malia, the outcome is the same. No matter who you try to save, they die anyways. As I said, this game gives you illusion of choices. Different colors of butt plugs that serve the same purpose. Somehow you are still alive in the pile of buddies. Luckily, Africa is full of potholes. It's eerie, windy, the dry sand is getting in your eyes. You crawl your way into the darkness. It probably looks like opposite of being born. You lose your vision once again and you wake up to JAKCAL himself.
Stop squirming. Thought you'd be dead by now. You're stronger than I thought. But not strong enough to stop the APR. They screwed you pretty good. So we've got new men in office. Now what do you think's gonna happen? You already know. The whole world knows. First, they'll take everything they can get their hands on. Rob the banks and the stores. Then, the men will be lined up against the wall and shot. Chop children's arms off and cut the tendons in their necks. And the women.
This is your second interaction with JAKCAL and half of the game is already finished. He gets like 8 minutes of screen time. Anyways, he saved your life. He's manipulating you by spitting facts. Basically, he is saying factions are greedy, they will rob banks, murder children, etc. etc. They take and take away until they get killed, like Gakumba. And when they die, they get replaced, like my friends. So UFLL is not dead, just a face is. He's also giving you his perspective by saying, what do you do in this situation? You quarantine the patients, like the underground is trying to do, if you remember the victim gang. Or you become the part of it, like him and yourself. The reason why he saved you is because he sees himself in you. After his speech, more men arrive and he flees the scene. The person who enters the room is none other than Hector Boris, the first lieutenant of UFLL. He was always beside Gakumba. You just killed his boss. What do you think he will do to you? He gives you a healing potion. The reason for aiding you is that you are not a criminal, you are just a bloody weapon in a country where violence is the true currency. He says the situation isn't good for you or the UFLL here in North. He can help you to move south in one condition. Kill Kuwasi, the leader of APR, the guy who gave you the task of killing Gakumba. He is delivering a speech in the middle of nowhere, basically celebrating the fall of UFLL in North, power tripping.
So get ready to take what is yours, the money, the women, all of it. It's good to be king.
He's going to honor his lost brothers in this war by robbing people and raping women. This was the first time I got my hands on the mortar. They had been bombing me with this across the map. Now it's my turn. So I thought, but this shit is as manual as it gets in real life. There is no top view, so you will never know where it will land. No indicator, no UI. They could have at least engraved some text like meter indicator in the model. What am I supposed to lick my finger and feel the wind? I mean, I got the feel of it. I'm talking about the finger I just licked. I killed him with an AK. There is no cutscene. He dies like any other NPC. After killing Kuwasi, you leave the north. This is where you enter the Act 2 of the game and a southern district will be unlocked. A completely new region. You can still visit the northern region, but there is nothing to do except collecting diamonds. Here in south, things are no different. Both UFLL and APR operate in the same town with underground in between them. And again, you work for both of them. You'll get new buddies. They are as lunatic as ever. Even a new bar. Everything is the same. This time, however, missions are more relevant to the story and both factions are going to extreme lengths to destroy each other. Like for example, immediately after moving south, Hector Voorhees from UFLL tells you that JAKCAL has a ship full of weapons. You need to escort that ship to us and we will give those weapons to locals under the name of APR. Yes, a UFLL guy is going to give weapons in the name of APR just to get attention of his boss and possibly ruin the non-existent reputation of APR. So not only he is helping APR by recruiting new soldiers for them, he's also ruining the local lives by involving them in war. It really shows factions want nothing but power. Also reminds you of that funny quote from the beginning. Even after betrayal, you end up working for both factions again, and while doing missions, there will be a lot of moments like this where you will grow to believe more and more in JAKCAL's ideas. Eventually, both factions get tired of this war and they decide to end this conflict. This is like me and a job application finally coming to an understanding. Will it ever work? Probably not. You'll see. Now APR tasks you to deliver a folder to UFLL's leader, which accepts all their terms. They say UFLL will give you a case full of diamonds to deliver back to us, but your buddy just waiting outside has other plans. He says the ceasefire means death sentence to us. Bring those diamonds to him instead, and he will get you out of this shithole alongside with all the mercs. Mercs make living out of wars. No more war means no more money. No matter how shady these people are, they will always tell you what's best for you. Upon reaching the brewery where you're supposed to deliver the folder, you find a lot of dead bodies alongside with Adi Mbantwe, the main leader of UFLL. He was the one who's supposed to hand you the diamonds. To your surprise, diamonds are still there. But as soon as you grab the diamond case, you find a machete in your throat. It's JAKCAL who did this.
It's you. If you're here to help rubber stamp that ceasefire, you're too late. A peace agreement, what a joke, a comedy act. You think these men wanted peace? They wanted privacy is what they wanted. They wanted the world to stop paying attention to them so they could go on with their raping and pillaging. And peace, you see. It's gonna stop. I'm gonna stop them and they'll know. They'll be cursing my name when the blood comes spurting out of their necks.
He says ceasefire is an excuse for exploiting people. If you go back with the diamond case, they will think you broke the ceasefire, so the war can continue and you can make more money. There is no end to this until you and I do something about it. Then he knocks you out by printing his Jordans in your face. You never planned to go back, but it doesn't matter now. When you wake up, you find yourself in a cell with no way out. This reminds me of a scene from Breaking Bad where Jesse was trapped. Anyway, you hear your buddy from another cell. He said all of us are getting blamed for the assassination. And the pilot who's supposed to get us out of this country is gone because you didn't bring the diamonds. Then he gets his ass beaten and taken away. It's possible that he thinks you did the assassination. He's not dead, he got tortured, but you can still find him in any safe house. Now you have to escape the cell. But how? I was legit trying to do what Jesse did, but there was nothing to climb on. Luckily, these are American walls. They scream nothing but freedom. You find a machete and the pills in the next cell. This is where your buddy was. Even in a situation like this, they are helping you. You escape the prison and get a call from Hector Voorhees from UFLL. He wants to meet you. Why would he want to meet you again? Everybody says this game's story and characters are so realistic. Which part of, hey, let's hire that guy who killed our boss, Gakumba, to avenge our new boss who just died. Does this sound like realism to you? Didn't they think of one possibility that maybe he's the one who killed our boss again? The only realistic thing I have found so far is this Nokia that's been up my ass vibrating with every LinkedIn notification. The only reason why I made the profile in the first place. When you go back to him, he breaks you the news that Mbantwe is dead. And he wants you to kill APR's leader, not to avenge him, but because he wants someone whom he can trust at the other side of the table. Uniting the two factions is still his goal. Now killing the leader saga has started again. So you go to the location, find him, he mumbles something in enchanting language. When you turn around, he pulls his pistol and you kill him. After both of the bosses dead, their assistants took over. Remember the guy who saved you in the beginning? Now out of nowhere, he wants Hector, his superior, out of his way. And in return, you can run the faction alongside with him. And you being a glowing green goblin, accept his terms. Now you can either kill Hector or his assistant, or both.
Eat my shit. Do it.
If you kill one of them, the remaining one will offer you a better deal. In return, you have to kill the guy who saved you in the beginning. I killed the guy who saved me in the beginning because Hector also saved me, and because I thought the game will give me something for one extra step, but nope, doesn't matter. Now you get a call from Ruben. He says some of your old subordinates are here. Upon reaching the bar, you will find this guy. So this guy is basically the guy who saved you, but from APR. In the beginning, if someone from APR saves you, it will be this guy. He saw you destroy UFLL. Now he wants you to do the same for APR. Kill his superiors. If you are having a hard time following what's happening, the funny quote is what's happening. Everybody is betraying each other for authority. So you do the same for APR as well. Now you have basically wiped out both factions, except you made new leaders from each side and they promised you authority. Also, they have finally joined forces to exploit people. Now you help Ruben's family leave this country, but he is staying. Remember, only fools and cab drivers stay in this country. In exchange of helping him, he gives you JAKCAL's location. Also, we were getting bombed while having this conversation.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Ruben tells you about a riot at the prison, the same place where you woke up after JAKCAL kicked you in the face. Upon reaching the prison, you see JAKCAL just standing there by himself like an NPC. In Act 2, during one of the missions, you can hear the factions talking about JAKCAL going insane. He started handing out the weapons to both factions for free.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He didn't sell the weapons this time, he gave them away.
That's ridiculous. He's an arms dealer. He has to sell the weapons to leave.
And now he's gone. He's up to something, I'm telling you.
When you talk to him, you find out he plans to wipe out the factions entirely, and you are going to help him. It would have been insane if you had to choose between helping JAKCAL to wipe out the factions or running the factions yourself. You have been part of it for so long, why not rule it? Also, it would have been a great compliment to the code from the beginning. Right now, JAKCAL is going against his own ideas. He isn't doing this for power, he's helping people by freeing this country. He asks you to do two things. Retrieve the diamonds from the crash landing site, they are his diamonds, and kill the two leaders who promised you authority. He says you are the only one who can do this since the leaders will allow you to enter the camp.
Also, he does that video game thing where he walks behind you and just disappears from the entire planet.
This is the final act of the game. You can tell because this area will only be accessible after meeting JAKCAL, and it's highly detailed. When you reach the crash landing site, there is only one guy standing. So I killed him and picked up the case, didn't think much of it, but something didn't feel right. So I loaded the previous save and found out he's my buddy. As I said, they die so fast I can't remember them.
And now you're here. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Stop talking, just shoot him.
Be cool. Nobody needs to get stupid.
We have an arrangement. He's not part of it.
Sorry. Fuck you!
It might seem like they betrayed you, but you are the one who betrayed them by joining JAKCAL. They wanted diamonds so all of you mercenaries can leave. Now you want diamonds to give them to JAKCAL? This could have been a secret ending where you can leave with your buddies, leaving all the war crimes behind. But anyhow, now you have to kill them. You can avoid killing them by just running away, but I don't think it changes anything story-wise. You go to the camp where two leaders have united. They are plotting something. It's hard to understand what they are actually saying because fucking 15 people are speaking at the same time.
Hey, you catch news on that bed, man?
He's headed this way. A slower group
Watch your
here.
back.
You just kill them, there are no dialogues, there's nothing to be said. After completing both tasks, you meet JAKCAL at nearby safe house where he explains rest of his plan. So one of you must give the diamonds to the border guards to allow refugees to escape. And then KYS. Anyone who is sexually attracted to inflation should replicate this mission IRL. He says we are the part of this cancer and all the atrocities we have committed, we have no place in regular society. He even gives you a gun that can't jam to kill yourself. That is comical. It would have been the funniest plot if the gun actually jammed while killing yourself. Man, so many missed opportunities. And the other must go to the canyon with a car battery and detonate the dynamite to stop border guards from pursuing the refugees. However, it will also kill you because according to him, detonator cord doesn't work and you have to manually detonate it. Why can't I use the C4 that's been sitting in my inventory? I can just put the C4 over the dynamite and it will explode, right? But I'm not Arabian enough to know for sure. Why do they want to kill themselves? I don't know. Maybe they are lovers and they want to have sex, but since they are both straight, they have to off themselves and hope for reincarnation with proper biology. That's my theory. Either way, both of them die. It's not confirmed, but I don't think the one who detonated the dynamite will survive. And regardless of what you choose, the same cutscene plays. You can't even visit the map again. You have to do another playthrough or load a previous save. That's the only way to go back. So, what do you think of the story? I think it's one of the most unique ones out of not only just Far Cry's but all the games out there. It's amazing how the first meeting with JAKCAL gives you the fundamental rule of this world. Life itself is will to power. And the only thing that's holding this game back are the soulless characters. The game focuses on politics rather than character development. I'm a big fan of the character JAKCAL, but not the guy who voiced him or the way he talks. Even though he's one of the best among all the voice actors in this particular game. He's like the autistic among retards. The protagonist has no backbone. He does everything he has been told by any random guy. Most of the time he doesn't make any decisions. You don't get to make any decisions. And when he commits to a side, it's questionable. Why did he decide to help JAKCAL? Why the change of heart? And when did JAKCAL change his mind? Why did the protagonist kill himself? Like so many things that never concluded. One of the most heartbreaking things was when you have to take diamonds from your buddies, basically betraying them. Sure, they were douchebags, but you were douchebags together. Yet I felt nothing because the game never showed any relationships. The friendship is just a stat in this game. There are so many reviews on YouTube about this game being so realistic and underrated. JAKCAL probably bribed them all or manipulated, like he did the protagonist. To me, this is an average game that had a lot of potential. It feels like the devs put so much effort into details, things that don't really contribute much to the gameplay or the story. You know what, let's talk about some ridiculous details that modern games could never. Every single gun has jamming animation, and if you keep using them, they become more and more rusty before eventually blowing up. But what people don't know is that it also has inspect animation for every single gun, even machete. And the models themselves are so high quality, considering this game was released back in 2008. Some of the environment is destructible, and the way your surrounding reacts to explosions blows my mind. You can see the branches breaking off of trees, and some foliage is breakable. You know, when you shoot any gun, bullet casings fall to the ground and it makes a sound. But in this game, they have different sound effects for different surfaces. Like, what the fuck? You can shoot through some surfaces. It's inconsistent, but it's in the game. RPGs can bounce. and sometimes malfunction even while an enemy is using it. If you are doing the buddy missions, you will eventually get ammo crates outside the safe house, and when shooting at them, they explode. Every time you enter a city or a camp where factions operate, your character will automatically put the weapon in the passive position. The game also has a reputation system, so the soldiers will treat you differently according to your reputation. At lower levels, they will be rude towards you, push you away, and if you stare for too long, they will shoot you on sight.
This is it, cowboy. I know my chances.
During a mission, I went AFK, and while I was gone, my character was staring at this guy's soul at the headquarters, and as soon as I exited the headquarters, this happened. At higher levels, they will back off and even apologize, but regardless of your reputation, if you stare for too long, they will be hostile. You can see the character slowly running out of malaria pills. But what's funny is that if you have pills and choose not to take them, you won't die. There will be this yellow blur forever, but you will stay alive. But if you run out of pills, you will collapse a few times before eventually dying. There is a mission where you and your buddy blow up a bridge, and it looks something from Unreal Engine 5.
It's down.
Also when your buddy sprays the herbicides on some fields. Everybody already knows about the immersive healing animations. You have different healing animations for different type of damage, and there are so many of them, which is really unnecessary. Sometimes characters will refer to you as China. I thought they were being racist, but my character isn't Chinese, not even Asian. Then I thought it must be a dialogue mistake, but no, apparently China is a slang term used for a foreign friend. This is not something detailed, it's rather off topic, but there are these random billboards with little to no meaning, but one of them describes my relationship with my dad. There is nothing on either end. What I found funny is Far Cry 3 features a whole ass ecosystem of wildlife, and it takes place on an island. Islands aren't supposed to have this wide variety of land mammals. How do they even end up there? Did they swim across the ocean? It's possible if an island is connected to a mainland. However, Rook Islands aren't connected to anything. But then you have Far Cry 2, which takes place in Africa, which is known for its wildlife, and you have like 3 types of animals that you can't even interact with. But you know what, at least they added some. They didn't have to. It would have made zero difference, but they did. Molotov! Throwing a Molotov in grassy areas causes a mini wildfire. Would you still kill enemies if I tell you some of them are underaged? I mean, I personally started enjoying the game when I found out there are underage. Okay, right now I am editing this video and I just realized it doesn't sound good. I was trying to make a joke that I enjoyed killing underaged, not enjoyed them. Don't get it twisted, okay? Almost ended my non-existent career. Of course, the models aren't underaged, but lore-wise there are teens taking part in this war.
Saw this kid in the side of the road yesterday. Couldn't have been 18, 17. Had a shotgun across his lap and a dead APR half in the ditch next to him. Couple of close-range blasts with that 12 gauge tore a big chunks of hamburger on his torso. Kid was lifting up the guy's leg, taking his boots. Kid just looked tired, just beaten down, ragged, tired, old. Kid that age shouldn't look like that.
There is a cool feature in this game. The signs on the road will be colored blue, red or yellow, indicating which road you should take. Red is for main missions, blue is for alternative buddy missions, and yellow is for underground. You can shoot RPGs mid-air and they will explode. In the beginning of the video, I said JAKCAL gives you a gun and a machete. How did I know that they aren't protagonist's weapon, but JAKCAL's? The answer is quite simple. I don't know. for sure. Driver picks you from the airport. I don't think any airport will allow you to carry weapons. Plus, you can actually see all of your stuff in the passenger seat. It has everything but those weapons. But they could be in the back, that's why I'm not sure. Like, who cares about this stuff? It's cool to stumble upon if you even notice it, which most people won't. All this effort for a flop channel to discuss it. I would rather have a skill tree or a better progression system over all these details. But right now, they are the only thing which makes this game unique. Gameplay is lacking, progression stops as soon as you get a sniper, story is really hard to follow. While I was playing the game, I had no idea what's going on. It's only after reviewing the footage multiple times I understood it. Maybe it's because I have an attention span of a modern day Helen Keller. The lore, the story is so good that it feels like a documentary and not a fictional setting. But the way they presented it is so bad. This is one of those games where if you see it on YouTube, it looks perfect. You feel immersed, but when you try it, the experience is way different. I don't love this game, but I'm glad I played it. If I have to describe this game in one word, it would be lonely. So lonely.
A living being seeks above all else to discharge its strength. Life itself is will to power, nothing else matters.
Why Africa? Why my home? Every place is somebody's home, pal.
Assassination. Chief of police. Bad.
Everyone's trying to find a way out of the country. Only fools stay now.
And what if you have to kill 10 or 100 or 1,000? What if in doing it you save 1,000 or you spare 10?
You see the briefed up place? I hear the APR's got a hostage in there, some foreign national like you.
You're sick. Very sick. You are a good soldier, not like the men who are fighting this war. They'll be gone soon enough.
They're not biodegradable. Only the dead are biodegradable.
Morphine.
These guys are already dead. They're blowing each other away for someone else.
I want Kakumba dead.
There's no ideology at all.
They're coming, hundreds of them. Go back to the boat and kill Kawasi.
We have decided it's time to bring an end to this conflict.
A peace agreement. What a joke. A comedy act.
Man, you could kill them both right there. No problem.
Is it somehow better to do it clean with a bullet through the head? Is it somehow worse to chop them up with an axe?
An entire country is about to disappear. You're the only one who can do this.
Stop talking, just shoot.
I planted some dynamite out there, by that overhang on the cliff. I'll be dead in an hour, and so will you.